Welcome to the explanation about our entrance exam for the Graduate School of Global Environmental Studies at Kyoto University. There are two types of entrance examinations to enroll in the Graduate School of Global Environmental Studies. One is the General Admissions Exam, which is held twice a year in summer and winter. Please note that the summer examination is the main one, and therefore the winter examination may not be held if the full capacity is reached in the summer exam. The other examination is International Environmental Management Program, namely IEMP. Now, this admission track is only for highly capable international students. The examinations are held in August and December. If you're interested in this program, please contact your intended academic supervisor prior to the application. In this video, we will explain each exam in turn. This table summarizes the examinations held in each academic year. For each of the master's and doctoral programs, there are general entrance examinations, and also we hold the IEMP special entrance examinations. Please note that the schedule and method of examination differs depending on the program and the year of admission. I will now explain the examinations that concern each enrollment period. First, entrance exams for students wishing to enroll in October 2026 are divided into IEMP, which takes place in late August, and the general exam in summer, which also takes place in late August. If you wish to enroll in the master's program to start this October, note that this is only possible via the IEMP exam, which is shown here, and not via the general examination, which was shown on the previous slide. Please note that the doctoral program offers two courses of Environmental Management and Global Environmental Studies. Meanwhile, the master's program offers only the course of Environmental Management. Please check our website for further information regarding the details of each program. Entrance exams for April 2027 enrollment are divided into the summer exam held in late August, the winter exam held in February, and the IEMP exam held in December. Again, please note that the general exam in winter may not be carried out. Please check the information on our website about this. A decision will be announced on our website probably around September the 7th this year. Finally, here is the slide about the entrance exams for students wishing to enroll in October 2027. As mentioned, this is only possible by the IEMP exam, which takes place in December. In addition to these two exams listed, another IEMP exam may be held in February for the priority placement of government-sponsored international students, which offers MEX scholarships. But this is only for students who wish to enroll in the doctoral program. We will notify you in December regarding the status of this examination, so please check our website for further details. I will now explain the master's program for the exam which will be held in summer this year. Please note that the selection methods and criteria such as subjects and the required total marks might change. Therefore, please check our website carefully and frequently. First, I will explain the details of the exam for admission in April 2027. As I explained before, GSGES offers only the course of Environmental Management for the master's students. There are 19 study areas, and the enrollment capacity is 44 persons in total. Successful applicants of the career track admission and IEMP admission are also included in this number. Now, please note that the enrollment capacity is fixed for each study area. What this means is that individual professors and laboratories are only able to accept up to a certain number of students. Successful applicants will be decided considering the acceptable capacity of each study area. This slide explains the contents for the summer exam. Now, students can acquire up to 100 points for their English proficiency, and they can acquire up to 400 points for their interview. Now, in order to pass, you are required to collect at least 250 points. Now, this must consist of at least 200 points for the interview. Now, in terms of the assessment criteria, we will, for example, base this score upon things such as your basic academic skills, your general knowledge and understandings of the chosen subject area, your problem understanding and analytical abilities in the subject area as well. And then also in terms of your intended academic research, your ability to set an academic problem, your ability to carry out research, your comprehension of questions and communication skills, etc. This will also be in addition to the contents of the application documents. Here is the selection criteria that applies to career track applicants. Like before, an applicant can acquire up to 100 points for their English proficiency and up to 400 points for the interview. Now your combined marks must total at least 250 points as well. For career track applicants, we will ask you questions during the interview, and we will also carry out our assessment based upon your practical experience. Now, in terms of the other criteria for the evaluation of the interview, please refer to the previous slide. This is a list of study areas that are currently available. Applicants are requested to select only one intended study area. You must contact your intended academic supervisor prior to the application. So we can imagine that many of you are very anxious about the nature of questions that will be asked during the interview. So as we state here, we will ask you questions that relate to your general knowledge about global environmental studies, knowledge that's related to your chosen intended study area, and also questions that concern your research and study plans after you enter the graduate school. And we'll also ask that you explain your academic qualities and your research abilities. Now please note that we'll also take into account the application documents, and therefore we may ask questions about these as well. Here are some further important points regarding the submission of the application documents. For test scores for English proficiency exams, only tests listed here on this slide are eligible. Now the score must have been obtained after April in 2023. Note that the essay on the global environment is also required as an application document. Now application, the procedure is conducted online only, and the period of this application is indicated here in red, which is from July 7th to July 14th. Applicants wishing to apply through summer admission, which includes career track and thesis track admissions, must satisfy one of the following requirements. That is, a degree equivalent to a bachelor's degree obtained by completing studies with an enrollment term of at least 3 years must have been obtained, or the applicant must have reached the age of 22 and graduated with an academic degree that is equal to or higher than those who have graduated from the university as determined by screening criteria from this graduate school. Now, please note that if you need to take an eligibility screening, the documents for this need to be submitted through the online application system as well, and the period for this is from May 29 to June 5th, 2026. And note that this is before the application, the official application period itself. For details on eligibility requirements, please refer to the application guidelines. Okay, this section will now explain the master's program for the IEMP admission, but as we have stated for the previous slides, note that the selection criteria, evaluation, etc. might change, so therefore please check the website information carefully. Please note the list of eligibility criteria here for the International Environmental Management Program. In principle, you must not be a Japanese national. You must also be able to confirm that you have received a Japanese government scholarship or a scholarship from another government or non-government organization when you enroll in the program. Or you must be applying for the ADB GSP scholarship program. You can learn more about the details for that on the official website for the scholarship program, for example, regarding details such as eligible countries. Now, for the master's program, the only major is environmental management. There are 21 study areas for the October enrollment this year. Like for the other degrees, there are a limited number of enrollment positions that have been allocated to each laboratory and field. The examination date will be on August the 25th through to the 27th. Now for April enrollments in 2027, on the other hand, there are 19 study areas. Please note also that there are only a limited number of enrollment positions for this track as well. Now, as mentioned, there are two opportunities for examination. First of all, between August the 25th to the 27th, and then secondly, between December the 9th to the 11th in 2026. More details about each of these tracks will be announced on the website. Now, here is some information about the scoring and evaluation criteria in the examination. For IMP, scores will be derived from the English proficiency score, application documents, and an interview. Your total examination score will be based on a comprehensive evaluation of the documents and the interview. Applicants can receive up to 500 points in total. That includes 100 points from the English proficiency score and up to 400 points from the application documents and interview. Please note that your combined marks must total at least 300 points, and that at least 240 of these points must come from the interview. Now, here is a list of possible study areas for IEMP applicants during the next October or April enrollment. Applicants are requested to select only one intended study area, and of course you should contact your intended academic supervisor prior to making your application. Here is some important information regarding the application submission. Note that the application period will take place between July the 1st to the 14th, 2026. Now, if you need to take an eligibility screening, the documents must be submitted beforehand through the online application system. The application period for that will be earlier, from May the 29th to June the 5th, 2026. For details about eligibility requirements, please refer to the application guidelines. For the December admission, the application deadline is scheduled for November 2026, and the eligibility screening will be scheduled for October 2026 before this. Details will be informed later on the website. So this explanation from here on is going to relate to our doctoral program for summer admissions. Now, as with all the previous sections, there's a possibility that some of our selection methods or criteria might change. Therefore, please check our website carefully and frequently. Now, for the doctoral program, there are two majors: Global Environmental Studies and Environmental Management. For the October 2026 enrollment, there are 21 study areas, and please note that there is a maximum enrollment capacity for each. The examination date will be between August the 25th to 27th this year. Now, the thesis track admission and the career track admission applicants can also be selected for this enrollment stream. Of course, for both of these, each study area has a maximum number of students that can be accepted. Now, the selection process for the doctoral degree is based upon criteria that are set by each division or laboratory, and therefore they vary by each study area. For April 2027 enrollment, there are 19 study areas, and the maximum enrollment capacity is 13 persons for Global Environmental Studies and 7 persons for Environmental Management. The examination date will be between August the 25th to the 27th. Now, winter admissions in February may not be held, so please check the website for information about this in the future. The announcement about a decision to hold the winter admissions will be scheduled, or that means it will be announced sometime during September this year. Now, as mentioned, the thesis track admission and career track admission applicants can also apply to this stream. And like the other streams, each study area has a maximum number of students that can be accepted. And the selection process in the doctoral degree is based upon criteria that are determined by each study area. This is the selection criteria for the general admissions in either summer or winter. Applicants can receive up to a total of 100 points for the English proficiency component and up to 400 points for the interview component, reaching a maximum total of 500 points. Now, in order to pass, your combined marks must total at least 300 points, and you must score at least 240 points out of 400 points for the interview. Now, for the interview, you will be given approximately 20 minutes for the presentation. The interview assesses, for example, your research ability, the significance of your proposed research, and your presentation effectiveness. It will also assess the contents of your application documents. Here is the selection criteria for the thesis track admission. Applicants can receive up to a total of 100 points for the English proficiency component and up to 400 points for the interview component, reaching a maximum total of 500 points. In order to pass, your combined marks must total at least 300 points, and you must score at least 240 points out of 400 for the interview. You'll be given approximately 20 minutes for the presentation during your interview. We will assess the contents of your draft doctoral thesis and interviews, that is, your researchability, the significance of your proposed research, and your presentation effectiveness. The contents of your application documents will also be assessed. Here is a list of the possible study areas for the upcoming October and April enrollment periods. Applicants are requested to select only one intended study area, and you should of course contact your intended academic supervisor prior to making your application. Please note that as marked in red, there is one field that is only open for applications for enrollment in October 2026 and not for enrollments beyond this. Here are some further important points for submission of the application. For test scores for the English proficiency exams, only tests that are listed here are considered eligible. Now, note that the score must have been obtained after April 2023 and it must be included in your application documents. We also require a copy of your master's thesis or report of relevant work experience, as well as an essay for your application documents. Now, the application procedure, which includes the submission of these documents, is conducted online only, and the application period is indicated here in red. Applicants wishing to apply for the summer admission, which includes career track and thesis track admissions, must satisfy one of the following requirements here. That is, the applicant is required to possess a degree equivalent to a bachelor's degree obtained by completing studies with an enrollment term of at least 3 years, and they must have reached the age of 22 or have been recognized as having an academic ability equal to or higher than those who have graduated from university as determined by the eligibility screening from this graduate school. And for further details about eligibility requirements, please refer to the application guidelines. So this section concerns the doctoral program for IMP, and as with all the previous sections, please note that the selection methods and the criteria might change. Therefore, please check our website carefully and frequently. To apply for the International Environmental Management Program, IMP, the doctoral program, in principle you must not be a Japanese national. An important condition is that you must be able to confirm that you have received a Japanese government scholarship or a scholarship from another government or non-government body when you enroll in the program, or you must be applying for the ADB JSP scholarship program. If you're interested in information about the latter program, please check their website for details, for example, eligible countries. Now, for the doctoral program, there are two majors: environmental management and global environmental studies. For enrollment in October this year, there will be 19 study areas available, and note that there is a maximum enrollment capacity for the total number of applicants we can accept for each of the study areas and laboratories. The examination dates will be between August the 25th to the 27th. Now, concerning April 2027 enrollments, on the other hand, there are 17 study areas. And like in all the other entrance exam periods, each study area has a maximum number of students that can be accepted. Now, there are two opportunities for examination. The first one will be held between August the 25th to the 27th, and the second between December 9th to the 11th. So please check our website for more details about each of these. For the IMP selection track in the doctoral program, evaluation criteria consist of the English score, a comprehensive evaluation of the application documents, and an interview. You'll be given approximately 20 minutes for the presentation during the interview. The interview assesses, for example, your research ability, the significance of your proposed research, and the effectiveness of your presentation. It will also assess the contents of your application documents. Applicants can receive up to a total of 500 points. In order to pass, however, your combined marks must total at least 300 points, and you must score at least 240 points out of 400 for the interview. Here is a list of study areas for October 2026 and April 2027 enrollments. Applicants are requested to select one intended study area and to contact the intended academic supervisor prior to making the application. Please note that 3 fields indicated here with red have already closed. Meanwhile, there is 1 field that is only open for applicants wishing to enroll in October 2026 and not beyond this. Here are some further important points regarding the submission of the IMP application. The application period will be from July 1st through to the 14th in 2026. Now, if you need to take an eligibility screening, the documents must be submitted beforehand through the online application system. The application period will be from May the 29th to the June 5th for this pre-screening. Now, for details about eligibility requirements, please refer to the application guidelines. Regarding the December admission, the application deadline is scheduled for November 26th, 2026, and the eligibility screening is scheduled for October 2026. Again, details about this will be informed later on our website. So here is a slide summarizing the main documents that are required for the general admission. So please note that you are required to include your English score, a statement of your reasons for application, and an essay on the global environment for the master's program. And then for the doctoral program, you're required to submit an English score for English proficiency tests, a copy of your master's thesis, and then a statement of your proposed research. So please note the finer points that we've listed here. And also don't forget to include a photo, a copy of your academic transcript, and also a certificate of your graduation or expected graduation. And very briefly, here is a summary of the selection process for both the master's program and the doctoral program for the general admission. So please note that both include a examination of your proficiency in English and also an interview upon which you will be required to talk about your existing knowledge about the global environment as well as your plans for future research. So please note that we do not hold any written examinations. So here is an overview of the application procedure. Basically, this consists of preparing your submission documents, which basically means making high quality scans of your documents, then submitting these online. Then you'll be required to pay your examination fee through our chosen payment method, which is EXSS. And then you'll be issued with an examination voucher that you'll then use for your examination on the day. And the final message relates to a procedure for students that will be graduating from universities outside of Japan. You are required to submit the necessary documents to our admissions assistance office. This is located at a central location in Kyoto University. And then once screening has been done upon your application documents, you will then be given permission to then reach out to your supervisor, or your intended supervisor. So this process can take a few months. So please be sure to submit your documents to this procedure well in advance. Finally, here is an overview of the events and postings for this academic year. These will be posted on the GSGES website in more detail. The entrance examination guidelines, according to the application format, will be released in due order as well. The video for the admissions application procedure and the introduction of study areas has also been updated. These videos explain in detail the philosophy and features of our graduate school, and they introduce the study areas that comprise our graduate school, so please watch them on your own. Note that an admissions explanation session will be held on site on Saturday, April the 18th. This is an opportunity to meet directly with professors from various study areas, and ask them about their research or their conditions that they set for the entrance examinations and other topics. We look forward to seeing you there. This is the end of the explanation. Thank you and good luck.